Weekly haul! Starting with toys, there was a heapin' helpin' of McFarlane DC Multiverse today. Starting with what some may consider to be glub shittos. We got Darkstar and Merlin. I'm happy to have both of these guys and that they got made, but in hindsight, I probably should have waited to buy them because they're definitely gonna get discounted. A lot of people are sleeping on Merlin here. This is basically Green Arrow's main bad guy. Maybe Count Vertigo, but it's probably Merlin, right? And you play as him so early in LEGO DC Supervillains, which I also got this week. The Darkstars are another faction in Green Lantern lore. John Stewart was a Darkstar at some point. I think when Kyle was the only Green Lantern. I don't know the timeline. He's on that Manhunter, no. Yeah, it's mostly on that Manhunter body and looks pretty cool. They have an alternate head here where it's slightly damaged and you can see the humanity within. So that's the first two. Then we got Metron. He comes with a whole Mobius chair. So he comes with the chair, but now the diapers on McFarlane toys make it very hard for their figures to reach sitting position. So I am curious if he will actually be able to sit on the chair well. Probably not. He's on one of the plain base bodies, so he doesn't have a ton of exciting stuff going on. Metron of the New Gods. So now Mattel, with their DC Universe Classics line, for New Gods, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they made Metron later on as part of that signature series. They made Orion, Light Ray, Darkseid, Calback, and Desaad, and then a Parademon and Forager of Fourth World characters. That's who they made. McFarlane has made about half of those so far. They have Darkseid, Calback, Metron, Orion, and Mr. Miracle. Oh, and Mattel also made Big Barda. McFarlane, make Highfather. I would enjoy that. That'd be a good one. Then I got Mirror Master here, adding another rogue to the flash shelf. He comes with both gloved and ungloved hands. Neither match the art on the back where he's wearing orange gloves. He's got two pouches on his sides that I think are supposed to be holsters for his mirror guns, but they are not functional. Look at that. Look at that angry, aggressive smirk on this guy. I'm all for more flashback guys. McFarlane finishes the rogues before they're out from the license, I'll be pleased. And finally, the one I'm most excited for, it's Deathstroke here. I did see the Platinum release, but it's not entirely accurate to the cartoons. That kind of bothered me. And they made a Platinum cartoon Deathstroke, but they left us hanging with animated Cyborg and releasing none of his teammates. Now I look like a jackass just having Cyborg on the shelf by himself. He comes with a decent amount of weapons here, which is nice, but I would have liked if he also came with a bow staff. And Deathstroke's classic costume does have scale mail on the legs, the arms, and the midriff. He wears a sports bra, as you can see, and then they made it very subtle on here, but it is there. There is a texture on the blue. Then, you know I finished my McDonald's Happy Meal Hello Kitty X TMNT collection. Now I have all 8. Let's pop these open. And with that, the collection is done and I can finally rest. So we got My Melody Donatello here, and then Cinnamon Roll Donatello. So I just needed the Donnies. Then finally, I also picked up a Lego minifigure blind bag thing because they were on clearance at Shoppers Drug Mart. Pop this bad boy open. And I got the Boogeyman here. Just a scary little guy. I think they're having the Spider-Verse minifigure blind bags coming out soon, so I wanted to clear these out. And may I just add, these are way too expensive on their own. Not on sale, they're like $7 here, that's insane. Now when I was scanning the barcodes, they did also have the hamster guy there, and I'm debating if I go back and get that. Wait and see. Now for my monthly comics, I got Avengers issue 30, and as you can see, they're fighting the Marvel zombies here. I like that, that's fun. We got Everything is Fine, it's Gwenpool issue 5. Moon Knight's Fist of Khonshu, already up at issue 12. That was pretty fast, I feel. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue 11. Fresh #1 with Batman from Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez. Finally, something to deliver us from the evil that is Hush 2. Oh, no more agony for a little bit, because Hush 2 keeps getting delayed. Why is something so awful getting delayed so much? And if it wasn't important at all to continuity that they can release Batman 1 before Hush 2 even finishes, why didn't they just wait until it was completely done to run it? I don't know. Then it didn't even need to be delayed if they did that. I don't know what the decision making was there at DC. I'm excited to read this. I like this costume redesign, and I saw that Tim Drake got a costume redesign for the series as well, so that'll be nice. Gotta give my boy Tim Drake some love. He's the best Robin. Adventures of Superman, Book of L, Issue 1. This is Philip Kennedy Johnson's Superman run, continued on from Action Comics, Superman, War World stuff. I have all of his Superman things, and it didn't really feel concluded at the end of his run, and also those twins, whose names I don't remember. Otho, maybe. I don't remember their names at all. No one else is using them, so Philip Kennedy Johnson introduced two kids that Lois and Clark are looking after, and I don't think they've shown up once in Joshua Williamson's Superman run. That's a shame. Cheetah and Cheshire rob the Justice League, issue 2. See, I want to have Batman as my pick of the week, but it's gonna be this. I love me some Cheetah, love me some Cheshire. I love when villains get the spotlight, and they're robbing the Justice League. It's a heist. That's fun stuff. Batgirl, issue 11. This has been a fantastic series. Ultimate X-Men, issue 19. And Imperial War Exiles, number 1 of probably just 1. This was probably the post-relaunch Imperial title I was looking forward to the most, and then I noticed the writers from this are the ones writing the ongoings, save for Hickman. So this was written by Steve Fox, and he doesn't have the best track record, in my opinion. So I'm a little weary. I am still probably going to continue that ongoing just because I love me some X-Men and I love me some space, but we'll see where that goes. Then I picked up another video game. I got Lego DC Supervillains for the Switch. The Switch is the most modern console I own. So I have a PS4 and I have a Switch, and then everything else is old gen. But I like a low skill level game to play, to unwind, to not think too hard, and Lego games usually fill that void. But now, on the Switch, okay, so Lego games, famously janky, and then third-party games on the Switch, also famously janky. So playing this, I'm getting besieged on all sides by jank. But that's all part of the charm. It crashed a couple times. I was like, oh no. In like the second level, I was playing as Clayface, I was fighting Batgirl, and then I wanted to transform to Embiggen right when she triggered a cutscene of some kind. And then I got locked in place and could only attack when she jumped at me, and just charm, you know? Some janky charm. And then for trades on Marketplace, I got Daredevil Born Again for $10. Just a good deal. Classic Daredevil story that I've never read. It does trigger an interest in some more pre-2000 Daredevil stories, so maybe I'll get a bunch of trades of those, who knows. So this one was cool. Adventure Man, I think this is Adventure Man Volume 3. I read the first story arc in issues, and now I think I'm gonna buy it in a trade, because I didn't know they're ginormous like that. Terry Dodson art, giant-sized. Look at that. Whoa. This will look awesome on the shelf altogether. So Matt Fraction and the Dodsons, can't go wrong there. Now to discuss last week's comics. This was a 16 comic week, so there's a lot to talk about here. This wasn't too involved with the overall Imperial event that's going on right now. I didn't read a bunch of Hulk comics, but wasn't Sakaar destroyed? Is the Sakaar they're on in this from Totally Awesome Hulk when he went to Sakaar? I'm more of a She-Hulk guy, okay? I'm reading Infernal Hulk. No, not Infernal. I'm reading the current Hulk. I've read Immortal, that's about it. But She-Hulk, most of her publication. Yeah, it was very contained. She solved a murder mystery. It was fun. Some humor that was lacking, but I enjoyed it overall. This followed up on a cliffhanger from Imperial issue 3 where it looked like Black Panther and Hulk were about to fight, and then they didn't really fight in this. And then there's that kid. There's a kid in this whose father dies, and then T'Challa saves him and says, "You are my ward now." So is he gonna be the Black Panther in that ongoing coming out, or is it gonna stick with T'Challa having space adventures? I don't know. I don't know where this fits in continuity, because everyone is still having other adventures. The only one that fits neatly is Professor X being in space, because they set that up thoroughly. Another banger issue for the Runaways here, and in the very back, Rainbow Rowell said there's plenty more adventures for the Runaways. We'll have to wait and see, so maybe they're getting another mini or another ongoing soon by Rainbow Rowell. That'd be nice. And everyone's assembled, everyone's here. They got Alex back here. My theory is because Chase went to the future with Future Gert at the end of the last run, and Future Gert is the one that was telling the kids that Victor Mancha was going to be evil in the future and be victorious. but I think they're gonna have a little twist on that and reveal that future Gert was the evil one and Victor Mancha is the one that defeats her in the future. So then she traveled back to get the Runaways to kill Victor Mancha, but she failed in that mission. That's all my theories. They've been setting it up. Spider-Verse versus Venomverse. They had Japanese Spider-Man Takuya here, and they introduced his universe's Venom that looked like a Death Ranger from Power Rangers, and it was awesome. Good stuff. So the Avengers went to see Reed Richards to figure out what Meridian is looking for, what the flaw in the universe is, and it's something that Reed put there at the end of Secret Wars so that humanity would have something to strive towards, whatever. And Black Panther fully remembers the events of Secret Wars by Jonathan Hickman, and I don't remember who else remembers the events of that series. They're relying a lot on Black Panther remembering, but I could have swore Reed should have remembered as well since he went on that rebuilding the universe mission right after that to explain why he, Sue, and the kids weren't in the Marvel Universe for a few years, right? Someone let me know what's up. Let me know who remembered. Got the Incredible Hulk right here. Look at that cover. Gnarly. Bruce Banner turning into the Hulk in the most grotesque manner. He visits Brother Voodoo's brother, and I don't remember the cliffhanger at the end of this. So the Upstarts, are they the Upstarts? I think they're the Upstarts in this. Might be one of those other X-villain teams. They have so many, but they were all originally from X-Statics, and they all had O names. I like that Jen McKay, fellow Canadian, brought them back. And then Juggernaut brutalizes one of them in this. And that was a fun little scene to show that Juggernaut still has some edge, like that guy was egging him on about. Speaking of having some edge, Sigurd Jarlsson really brutalized some Roxxon ruffians in this, and that was also pretty sweet. Because Mjolnir is typically a flat edge, so it's not puncturing. But Sigurd Jarlsson's hammer there, that thing can brutalize a person in a visceral way, as is shown in this issue. Ultimate Spider-Man. My favorite part of this issue was Mary Jane punching Gwen Stacy out. That was just a good, strong moment for Mary Jane. And I liked her saying, Peter, you're a good man. Harry, you could be a good man, but your wife is gonna get us all killed. Get everyone killed, something like, I'm paraphrasing. That was a good scene. They've been building up to that nicely because Gwen in previous issues has been a bit of a psycho. Absolute Martian Manhunter issue 6 saw the return of Martian Vision, which was fun. That's where you hold up a page to a light and then you can see the bleed through from the page printed on the back of it and it merges the two. It's a creative little thing they do in this series sometimes. And so it looks like the White Martian, something's been off about John's son this whole time. And it looks like the White Martian has been monitoring John through John's son, or because John's son was dying from poison chocos in this, and then the White Martian fused with him so that he wouldn't die, but now John's son. Who knows what's gonna happen? Intriguing stuff. Robin and Batman ended off with this issue. Fun little 3-issue story. I enjoyed the original Robin and Batman and hoping that Tim Drake gets one now. Legion of Darkseid versus Superboy Prime and Superman. This was a fantastic issue. I loved when Superman's like, how are we going to get to the future? And the Superboy Prime's like, come on. And he starts punching. Get Silver Age with me. And then they punch their way through space and time. Wow, amazing stuff. Justice League Unlimited had surgery being performed on Time Trapper Doomsday to try and fix him up. And they used Metamorpho in a fun way, showing that he can't age. So any story set in the future now, I want Metamorpho there. This issue of Void Rivals was all action. I'm curious and wanting to see Pythona just do something more. With this issue of Green Lantern, they brought back all the entities. So back in the day, to explain the evil actions of Carol Danvers as Star Sapphire and Hal Jordan as Parallax, they introduced the entities Parallax, the Predator, and then I don't know the names of the other ones. And they had been out of continuity for a bit. Well, I guess they were I don't know. They've been trapped or thought destroyed for a while, and they brought them back in this issue. Army of Darkness versus Red Sonja finished off here, and they had a happy ending. Red Sonja ruled the world at the end. So they did a reverse of that deleted ending from Army of Darkness where Ash wakes up with a beard and he's in a destroyed Earth, but they did that, but it was a perfect Earth because Red Sonja is a perfect human being. So there's everything I picked up this week. Let me know what you're reading and what you want to see reviewed first.